Celeste Manno was born on the 22nd of November, 1996 in Catania, Italy. From the moment she arrived, her family knew she was special. Her godmother and aunt, Carmela Melinda, said that when Celeste opened those beautiful blue eyes, she was instantly mesmerized. Celeste had an amazing aura around her from birth. The family settled in Mernda, in northeast Melbourne, Victoria. She had two brothers, Alessandro and Jaden. Her brother Jaden would later say that Celeste was the most intelligent one, the best of all of them, and loved by everyone. Celeste was a cheerleader at Lalore Secondary College. She was athletic, outgoing, and had an infectious smile. But what truly set her apart was her kindness. She disliked the idea of anyone feeling left out. Friends said she was a ray of sunshine. After finishing school, Celeste pursued her passion for helping others. She enrolled at RMIT University, where she earned a degree in criminology and psychology. Her dream was to become a psychologist. Her brother Alessandro said she was perfect in every way. Her mother Aggie said Celeste was a beacon of love and joy who made everyone she met feel special. After graduating, Celeste took a job at the Serco call center, quickly becoming a team leader. Outside of work, she loved spending time with her family. She and Alessandro would often make homemade pizzas together. By November 2020, Celeste's life was full of promise. She had just started dating Chris Ridsdale. On the 15th of November, she posted a photograph of them together on Instagram. It was the first time she had ever shared a picture with a boyfriend on social media. For Celeste, it was a simple, happy moment. For someone else, it was the final trigger. It was June 2018. Celeste was thriving in her role at Serco, having recently been promoted to team leader. That month, a new IT worker was briefly assigned to her team. His name was Luai Rahim Sako. Sako was 35 years old. He lived with his parents in Roxburgh Park and ran a small IT business called Destix IT. He had been born in Iraq, but moved to Australia as a child. He had no prior criminal record. Celeste and Sako worked together for only a few weeks. Their interaction was minimal, purely professional. Celeste had zero romantic interest in him. But for Sako, those few weeks meant something entirely different. At the end of June, Sako was fired from Serco. As his manager, Celeste was required to escort him out of the building. It was standard protocol, but Celeste, being who she was, wanted to make the situation less uncomfortable for him. As they walked towards the car park, she shook his hand and wished him well, a simple gesture of kindness. But as they reached his car, Sako suddenly leaned in and kissed Celeste on the cheek. It was uninvited, unexpected. Celeste was surprised but brushed it off. Alessandro would later say that his sister wasn't close with Sako at all. She was just trying to give him some support whilst walking him out. She was being kind. That was all. 3 days after leaving Serco, Sako sent Celeste a message on Instagram. He wrote, "I'm sorry, but I can't stop thinking about you. I have never felt like this about anybody in my entire life. It's bordering along a OCD. I'm totally infatuated with you." He said that after leaving her, his productivity and personal life had been impacted. This obsession with you is an addictive and destructive feeling that is interfering with my ability to concentrate. Celeste responded politely. She wrote, "Hi Luay, those are really sweet words, and I appreciate you saying all of that to me. As much as I appreciate this, I only feel in a professional way towards you, and I wish you all the best in your new job and journey." For most people, that would have been the end of it. But for Sako, rejection was unacceptable. He wrote, "My impression of you has changed. You're no different to the majority of women. I'll remember you and this lesson for all life." And then the real campaign began. Over the next 12 months, Sako sent Celeste more than 140 messages. he created multiple fake Instagram accounts. Every time Celeste blocked him, he would create a new account and return within minutes. The messages became vulgar, degrading, sexually explicit. Celeste repeatedly told him to stop. She threatened to contact the police. The messages would temporarily cease, then resume with renewed intensity. Celeste confided in a colleague at work. She told her, "He's really going to kill me." She knew the danger she was in. Around December 2018 or January 2019, approximately 6 months into the harassment, Celeste and her mother, Aggie, went to the police. They explained what was happening, showed them the messages, told them how frightened Celeste was. The response was devastating. The officers said, "He hasn't committed a crime. There's nothing we can do about it." They suggested Celeste ignore the messages, get off social media, close her social media accounts. They trivialized the stalking and blamed the victim. About 6 months later, they returned to the police. This time, they spoke to a different officer who finally took their concerns seriously. This officer helped them obtain protection orders. In July 2020, Celeste was granted a personal safety intervention order. It was a court-issued order that prohibited Sarko from contacting her. In August 2020, a further interim intervention order was issued. For a brief moment, Celeste and Aggie felt relief. Maybe the legal order would be enough. But on the 10th of August 2020, approximately 1 month after the intervention order was put in place, Sarko breached it. He contacted Celeste via social media and sent her a 3.5-page letter pleading with her to withdraw the order. Sarko was arrested that day for breaching the intervention order. Celeste and Aggie breathed a sigh of relief. He got scared, they thought. Thank God he learned his lesson, but their sense of security was tragically false. Despite the arrest, despite the breach, Sarko was released back into the community. There was no detention, no remand, no GPS monitoring, no electronic surveillance of any kind. The very next day, on the 11th of August 2020, Sarko went to a shop and purchased a kitchen knife. Clear evidence of premeditation. He held onto that weapon for exactly 3 months. Between August and November 2020, Sarko was hunting Celeste. He used her Instagram posts to gather information about her life. He employed Google Earth and Google Maps to locate the family home in Mernda. He found the property's floor plan online, likely from public real estate or property records, and used it to determine which room was Celeste's bedroom. He conducted physical surveillance, driving past the property at least 3 times before the attack. He was planning, watching, waiting. During this time, life went on for Celeste. She was still working at Serco, still spending time with her family, still seeing her boyfriend Chris. On the 14th of November 2020, 2 days before her murder, Celeste and Alessandro made homemade pizzas together. They spent time by the pool, talked about visiting their niece Daisy the next day. Celeste was looking forward to her 24th birthday on the 22nd of November. She had plans. She was excited. She had no idea that time was running out. On the 14th or early on the 15th of November, Celeste posted a photograph on Instagram. It was a picture of her and Chris, her boyfriend. It was the first time she had ever posted a photo with him. For Celeste, it was a normal act of a young woman in a happy relationship. For Sarko, it was unbearable. Hours after the photo was posted, Sarko got into his dark-coloured Peugeot. He took the hammer. He took the knife he had purchased 3 months earlier, and he drove to Mernda, the 16th of November 2020. It was early morning. Most of Mernda was asleep. The Manno family home on Umbria Road was quiet. Celeste was asleep in her bedroom. Her mother, Aggie, was sleeping elsewhere in the house. her brother, Alessandro, was also home. At 3:38 a.m., Sacco arrived at Umbria Road in his Peugeot. He scaled the fence to access the back garden. Blood would later be found on the fence, evidence of his escape route. He approached Celeste's bedroom window. He raised the hammer and smashed through the glass. The sound of breaking glass shattered the silence. He climbed through the broken window into the room where Celeste slept. What happened next lasted just 2 minutes and 39 seconds, under 3 minutes. Sacco attacked Celeste with the kitchen knife. She woke to the horror of a man in her room, a knife in his hand. She fought. Forensic evidence would later show defensive injuries on her body. Celeste fought desperately for her life, but she didn't stand a chance. Sacco stabbed her 23 times. At least one deep stab wound went straight to her heart. That was the blow that killed her. He dropped the knife on the bedroom floor, climbed back out through the window, and drove away in his Peugeot. By the time Aggie was woken by the sound of breaking glass and commotion, by the time she rushed down the hallway to Celeste's bedroom, it was already too late. The attack had been completed in under 3 minutes. Aggie found her daughter in bed, blood spattered, dying from 23 stab wounds. There was so much blood that Aggie couldn't tell the position of Celeste's face. She touched her daughter. Celeste was as cold as a marble. Aggie later said, "How could I not protect her? What could we have done? Why? Just why?" Emergency services were called at approximately 4:10 a.m. Police and paramedics arrived, but there was nothing they could do. Celeste Manno was pronounced dead at the scene. She died in her bedroom on Umbria Road, Mernda. She was 23 years old, 6 days before her 24th birthday. Immediately after the murder, Sacco drove directly to Mernda police station. His car crashed at or into the police station. He walked inside, his hand injured from the attack, and turned himself in. The words he said to the officers were chilling. "She's dead," he said. "Go have a look. You know what happened. It's your fault." He blamed the police for the murder, for failing to protect Celeste despite the intervention orders, despite the reports, despite his arrest just 3 months earlier. Sacco was taken to hospital under police guard for surgery on his non-life-threatening hand injury. He remained hospitalized with police supervision for 3 days. On the 19th of November, 2020, 3 days after Celeste's murder, Luis Sacco was formally charged with 1 count of murder. Back at the family home, the scene was devastating. Brothers Jaden and Alessandro arrived. Boyfriend Chris Ridsdale came. Family members gathered outside, hugging and crying as police processed the scene. Floral tributes began accumulating. A glazier arrived to repair the large glass panel in Celeste's bedroom window. Forensic cleaners worked inside. The window was replaced around 2:45 p.m. At one point, Aggie tried to run through the crime scene tape as her daughter's body was being removed. Police had to stop her. Celeste's father, Tony Manno, spoke to the media, his voice breaking with grief and rage. "It's got to be changed," he said. "It won't bring her back, but it's got to be changed. Too many scenarios have already happened. What's it going to take for the government to listen? It's not right. It's got to stop." Homicide squad detectives were dispatched immediately. The perpetrator's identification was immediate. He had confessed and was already known to police from prior stalking complaints. At the scene, investigators found the kitchen knife on Celeste's bedroom floor, the hammer used to smash the window, and blood evidence throughout the room. Digital evidence was overwhelming. More than 140 Instagram messages from fake accounts. Google searches to locate the home. The floor plan found online to identify Celeste's bedroom. Proof that Sacco had driven past the property at least 3 times before the attack. Documentary evidence included the intervention orders and purchase records showing the knife had been bought on the 11th of August, the day after his arrest for breaching the order. The investigation confirmed what everyone already knew. This was premeditated murder, carried out by a man who had stalked Celeste for over 2 years, who had been arrested and released, and who had spent months planning how to kill her. Sacco appeared via online hearing at Melbourne Magistrates Court and was remanded in custody. In September 2021, he entered a not guilty plea. The case became mired in proceedings about his mental fitness to stand trial before he was determined fit to proceed. More than 2 years after Celeste's murder, on the 6th of April 2023, Sacco changed his plea to guilty. But even then, he disputed the evidence, claiming he had only inflicted 2 of the 23 stab wounds. Forensic evidence thoroughly disproved these claims. The plea hearing took place over 3 days before Justice Jane Dixon. Prosecutor Patrick Bork recommended life imprisonment, calling it an unprovoked, savage, and cowardly attack. He doesn't rock up to her workplace in the middle of the day, Bork said. He finds her house, he finds her bedroom, and goes there in the middle of the night. Dr. Rajan Darji diagnosed Sacco with severe personality disorder, major depressive disorder, and body dysmorphic disorder. He revealed that Sacco had fabricated psychotic symptoms. The risk assessment was chilling. Sacco posed a moderate to high risk of further stalking and violence. Aggie held an illuminated blue urn containing Celeste's ashes throughout the hearing and called Sacco a coward and a beast. On the 29th of February, 2024, Justice Jane Dixon sentenced Sacco to 36 years imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 30 years. She said, "Celeste deserved life, but you decided otherwise." Then came the conclusion. While the murder of Miss Manno was a grave example of a grave offence, it did not warrant a sentence of life in prison. Outside court, Aggie said, the court decided to grant him mercy even though he showed Celeste none. Quite clearly, his right to mercy was more important than her right to life. Celeste's murder triggered an urgent review. On the 30th of June, 2022, the Victorian Law Reform Commission released its final report with 45 recommendations. It acknowledged at the heart of this reference is the death of Celeste Manno. On the 17th of April, 2024, the family launched the Justice for Celeste petition. It has gathered over 62,000 signatures demanding mandatory life sentences, implementation of all 45 recommendations from the Victorian Law Reform Commission's Stalking Report, and GPS ankle bracelets for stalkers. As of November 2024, more than 4 years after Celeste's murder, there has been no formal government response to the 45 recommendations. Dr. Renee Heath said, "This Premier and her ministers have turned up to walks against family violence, but they will not make the changes that are required. All talk, all walk, no action." Aggie advocated for GPS ankle bracelets, pointing to Tasmania's Project Vigilance, which achieved a 100% decrease in stalking reports. But the Victorian government rejected electronic monitoring. We know that right now, if Celeste's situation was occurring in the same way, it would happen again. From January 2018 to May 2024 in Victoria, 113 murderers were sentenced for killing 124 people. Only 11 received life sentences. That's only 9.7%. Luai Sacco remains in custody. He will be eligible for parole around 2050 at age 65. The family's fight continues. Aggie's promise remains. "I failed her once, but I'm not going to fail her again." The question that haunted Aggie was, how could I not protect her? What could we have done? 4 years later, we know the answer. Celeste did everything she could. Her family did everything they could. The system failed them. The real question is, when will the system finally change?